Today, I'm not choosing anything. The wheel decides the room, the style, and the colors. I have no control over the outcome. Let's spin. Okay, let me explain how this works. I'm going to spin the wheel 5 times across 3 different wheels, one for the room, one for the style, and one for the colors, which I'll spin 3 times. The only decisions I get to make myself are the size of the space and how I distribute the colors. Everything else is up to the wheel. That's it. Simple rules, no escape. Okay, first spin we got balcony terrace. And the style is Mediterranean. And for the colors, peach, charcoal, and terracotta. Alright, I can work with that. Let's figure out how to make this actually look good. Let's break down step by step what the Mediterranean style actually is. First of all, the color wheel was good to us today. Terracotta is one of the main colors of the Mediterranean palette, so this will be our dominant color. The other signature Mediterranean colors are white or cream, yellow, blue, and green. Our other 2 spins don't match the style perfectly. Peach isn't far off, but charcoal doesn't naturally belong in the Mediterranean space. So peach becomes our secondary color, and charcoal will be the accent used sparingly but intentionally. Now let's look at some Mediterranean balconies and terraces for inspiration. A few things stand out immediately. Arches. They're everywhere and they're essential to the style. The openness too. Sky, views, fresh air. I know terraces are already outside, but with Mediterranean style, that open feeling is taken even further. The second thing is plants. Olive trees, bushes, palms, and cactuses. Plants are non-negotiable here. And the last thing is clay. Clay pots, decorations, tiles. The fact that we landed on terracotta as our main color is honestly perfect for this. First decision, balcony or terrace. I'm going with terrace. It fits the Mediterranean style better and it gives me more room to work with. Let's start with a basic terrace shape. I want it large. I have a vision of a wide open view over the ocean. Let's add a covered room dedicated to socializing, a space where you can sit with family or friends and talk for hours. First thing going in are the arches, essential to the style, and they add a beautiful shape to the whole space. Next, a pool. In this part of the world, summers are brutal. You need a way to cool off. Plenty of lounge chairs, a proper sitting area, and a ledge along the edge just so nobody falls off. Simple, practical, and it ticks every box. Now, let's see how it came out. I must say, this project came out fantastic. This was my first time designing a terrace, and I had a lot of fun while making it. Let's break down the space I made. Starting with the basics. I chose terracotta as the main color, which set the visual tone for everything else. All the walls are terracotta plaster, and most of the floor are also terracotta tiles. I really wanted the place to have a vibrant Mediterranean feeling, but for the additional room, I chose the second color, peach, because terracotta would make the covered room feel too dark and visually shrink the space. The same approach carries to the ceiling, so having lighter colored tiles feels like the obvious choice. Heading to the pool, I thought it was the perfect opportunity for the charcoal because the space inside is a little more hidden and it doesn't draw unnecessary attention, and the premium feeling comes with it. I added a sloped roof with these clay tiles because they are the most common roofing in the Mediterranean style. To complete the clay theme, I added these small tiles along the edges of the pool, arches, and most of the floor. It looks pretty and the shapes are more pronounced. And a very important element, the plants. I decided on olive tree type bushes because they add a softer look to the space. If I replaced them with cactuses, it would look more rigid in my opinion. Palms would also work, but olive trees just add the thing I was looking for. Before we get into the details, this video is supported by Polygon. Almost every texture you see in my videos, the wood, the fabric, and the tiles, comes from Polygon. I've been using it since I started, and honestly can't imagine working without it. The textures are beautiful, they add new ones every week, and the Blender add-on is genuinely great. Overall, it's just really good. Link in the description if you want to check it out. Let's walk to the corridor. I made the entry arched with a rounded door because, as we saw, arches are fundamental in this style. And the rounded door adds more detail to the wall. Because of the rounded entry, I also made this arched ceiling that runs throughout the whole corridor. It's a beautiful shape that adds so much character to this space. Just look how it would look without it. Yeah, soulless. To counter the roundness of every wall, I hung these rigid charcoal metal lamps to add some contrast to the corridor and also provide light because in the evening it would be too dark here. Added some lounge chairs to rest after a swim or when you just want to relax without burning in the sun. Also, one of the last things I added were these curved entries to the pool. Throughout most of the project, this was just straight. Until the very end, something was bugging me. And then I added these, and I knew they were perfect. Above the lounge chairs, there was this empty space, and I thought this was the perfect place for an abstract art piece. So in both of the arches, I added these round stone wall decorations that are backlit. I also made the arches stand out more by adding these darker edges. I did the same thing here, where I made this small minibar. The minibar, I wanted it to be pretty simple and fit in with the rest. And that sums up the corridor. Heading to the open space, we have the pool as the highlight of the open terrace. The second attraction is the fireplace, with the sofas around it as the spot for cozy evenings. I could have placed the sofa in the corridor, but I specifically wanted a fireplace and the open view of the sky. Additionally, placing lounge chairs for tanning if you feel like it. It's better to have options. So having lounge chairs in the corridor and some out here is practical. Let's move to the last area, the additional room. Leading up to it, we have some small steps that divide this room from the open space. The best feature in this room are the windows, or more like big holes. A great artistic addition that makes the room more characteristic and allows more sunlight inside. Other fundamental pieces are these charcoal wooden beams on the ceiling that stick out of the room and give us this raw look from the outside. I added some wall lights so you can see where you're going when it's dark. Also, we have matching lights between the arches. I placed a small bench under the window because I felt like something was missing there, and the bench fit in perfectly and it's pretty functional. So a win-win situation. Now, let's talk about what's inside the room. This room is probably the least important space here, so I won't keep it long. There is a big table for family meetings or friend visiting. Additionally, a large TV for entertainment and a sitting area on the other side. 2 sofas and a round carpet. Pretty simple design. One last detail. Candles. I placed them everywhere throughout the terrace. They add warmth and they're pleasant to the eye. And everything is color coordinated to what the wheel chose. Terracotta as the dominant color, peach as the secondary, and charcoal as the accent. So that's what happens when a wheel designed your room. Honestly, this is one of my favorite projects I've done. If you want to see what I come up with when I actually have control, that video is right here. Subscribe if you enjoy this kind of content and check out Polygon in the description.